Hello everybody and welcome back to the Fantasy Football Fix YouTube channel. My name is FPL Phillips and this is your Game Week 25 installment of Eddie versus the Algorithm. If you're new around here, make sure to subscribe first of all, but this is a series where we put a man up against a machine for each game week of the FPL campaign, and by the end of the 38 weeks we're going to know what is better at Fantasy Premier League, a man or a computer. In Game Week 24 I came over with a narrow victory, mainly thanks to Estepinan's 8 points coming through, where in a week where the bulk of the points really came down to Rashford and Bruno Fernandes, who were in both teams. But moving into Game Week 25, we've got a double game week on the cards, so it's going to be very interesting to see what the predicted points total is for the algorithm side, so I won't keep you guys waiting. Let's get into things. And the predicted points total is going to be a whopping 104, so the 100 club is predicted for this algorithm side this week. Despite this, I wouldn't be blinded by the number. I think in the majority of circumstances, you should look elsewhere than using your free hit chip this week. I'm even considering taking a minus 12 myself to put things into perspective, and I would favour that over using the free hit chip. But this can be very helpful just seeing the team anyway in order to help you decide on whether these picks could be long-term assets and whether we rate them or not for the upcoming game week in particular as well. In goal for the algorithm is going to be Jose Sarr, and I think you really have to go with him or Pickford if you're looking at a keeper this week, due to the fact that Alisson or Ramsdale is a bit of a waste of a Arsenal or Liverpool slot respectively, when we're going to want three of those players in our actual outfield, not wasted on our goalkeeper. Don't get me wrong, Alisson and Ramsdale will be great goalkeeper picks. I just think there's more upside for going with a Trent Salah-Darwin combination, for example. So Sarr or Pickford, who would I go with? Personally, Jordan Pickford, you're going to see in a second, but the reason why is Jose Sarr's just got those really tough fixtures. Away at Fulham, away at Liverpool. These fixtures sound difficult on paper. When Liverpool are in good goal-scoring form at home and Fulham's attacking data doesn't look the worst in the league, but two away fixtures, you can very much not back a team to get 2 clean sheets in those. If Jose Sarr does pull off a clean sheet, and don't get me wrong, Wolves have been decent defensively this season, and I'm sure he'll be up probably near the bonus points and have some save points as well, and he could be on for a mega haul, but personally wouldn't be going with Sarr this week. And if you need a keeper transfer, I'd be looking to bring in the man that I have in my side later on. In defence then, we're looking at a Liverpool double up in the back line alongside a bit of a surprising pick that I've not seen anyone talk about this week, which is always exciting to see when the computer goes with a pick that isn't popular, is Connor Cody of Everton. So he's come in over someone like a James Tarkowski, who seems to be the kind of FPL consensus. And I think the reason for Tarkowski being the consensus is pretty well justified. If you've watched Everton as of late, their corners are all aimed at him. Dwight McNeil swinging those in to James Tarkowski. It really is a Sean Dyche Burnley special. And I think if Everton are to score, Tarkowski got a pretty good chance of actually being the one who gets the goal from a set piece. Cody has some kind of threat himself. We've seen him do it at Wolves. We've seen him do it at Everton as well. It's just whether he has as much as Tarkowski at a more expensive price. I personally don't think it's worth it and would just go with the former Tarkowski. Robertson and Trent going with that double up, do I think that's worth it? Well, obviously for this week, it looks very attractive on paper. They've created loads and loads of big chances since the restart, Trent and Robertson, as they always seem to do. The problem really with Liverpool is that their defensive data, as much as we like loading up on these Liverpool assets for their attacking potential, is still pretty naff. They're going up against Crystal Palace and Wolves, so two pretty nice fixtures, but still not the easiest in the world. And I can't see too much hope of coming away from that with, 2 clean sheets plus an assist each for both of them. So do I think it's worth going with both? I don't think you have to rip your teams up to get both of them in. If you can put one of them into your side, I definitely think that is worth a go. If you can afford Trent, I would recommend him as well. But it's going to look very good for the algorithm this week, and it could come away, with 2 15-point hauls right there, easily doing. In midfield, we're going to see a midfield 5 of Mohamed Salah, who takes the captain's armband, and Neves, Saka, Odegaard, and McNeil. So 2 more differential options in there of Neves and McNeil, alongside some pretty box-standard options you can't really argue with. Salah taking the captain's armband is going to be the interesting thing. We saw that in the quick guide video yesterday, where we always do the captain comparison, so go ahead and check that out. Some more useful data in that video too. But Neves and McNeil, personally, would I go for either of them? Not really. Neves would be a no-go from me. I think you're really only hoping for a penalty or random long shot. McNeil, perhaps more due to that set-piece threat that I mentioned before with Tarkowski and McNeil combining. If you have both of those and you get a goal from a set-piece for Everton, you'd put good money on both of them being involved and some decent returns for your side. but that's really all you can be hoping for. And I think if you bring in McNeil, it's mainly with the hope of switching out for Matoma or someone else in game week 26, due to the fact that Brighton have that upcoming double in game week 27, and Matoma's been in fine form as of late. So McNeil would really only be a 1 week punt for me, so do consider that if looking to bring him in. But Saka and Odegaard seem moral consensus, have those in. The two key Arsenal assets to own really are the ones in your midfield, and then whether you add a third attacker, an Nketiah, or a defender is pretty much up to you. We'll finish things off with the forward line then, and up front this week is still going to be Erling Haaland. He comes in despite being a single game week fixture against Bournemouth, and then Nketiah as mentioned. So he comes in to complete the Arsenal triple up, giving this side the predicted points total of 104 points. Nketiah down the line may become a bit of an issue, but short term he's not going to be a problem. Game week 25 is not going to be a return for Gabriel Jesus. It's just whether further down the line it's worth bringing in Nketiah now, due to his poor performance in front of goal really, and the fact that Jesus will be back at some point, maybe by the time that Arsenal have some of their key fixtures, like game week 28 for example, where they will have a confirmed game, and we're going to need our Arsenal assets for that one. On the bench this week for the algorithm, we've got Kilman, Perisic and Nonto. So Kilman coming in as the Wolves' third player. We've then got Perisic going up against Chelsea. Pretty interesting, but nothing really I'd be going for there. And Nonto, Southampton at home. Looks a popular option if you need to go for a cheap forward. I personally quite like the look of him, and he has been in really good form as of late. So surprising to see him third on the bench behind Perisic, but, do you, the algorithm. We won't question that. We'll move into Eddie's team now and have a look at how my side is comparing, and you guys can make your decision down below in the comments as to which side you think is better. I'm only predicted 95 points, so 9 points fewer than the algorithm's prediction. But as mentioned earlier, I've gone with Pickford in goal, Tarkowski in the defence instead. I brought Kilman up off the bench and gone with him in my back line, but I think Craig Dawson is also an equally good pick. I was finding it very, very hard to split the two of them, whether I think Dawson's going to get a goal from a set piece or whether I favour Kilman's more reliable, but I suppose lower ceiling bonus points. In the end, I ended up going with Kilman and starting him over Dawson, but it's kind of just whatever you can afford, and if you think you'll need those funds down the line, then going with Kilman seems a safe pick. Stuck the captaincy still on Salah and McNeil, as mentioned. A 1 week punt, but still could be a decent 1 week punt with Odegaard and Saka, the rest of the midfield. Up front, I kept the same front two, but I've added in Darwin Núñez of Liverpool. I think he could be a really good punt this week. He seems to have his confidence up. He's been scoring backheel goals and whatnot. So, when Darwin's in that kind of form in front of goal and he's finally got his confidence, I think he's going to be finishing a hell of a lot more of those chances that he was missing, quite frustratingly, earlier in the season. So I think he's a really good move to bring in this week. I'm seeing a lot of people doing Harry Kane to Darwin Núñez in order to fund maybe bringing in a Liverpool defender, and I think that is probably going to end up being a relatively good move. Something like Kane and Shaw over to Trent and Darwin, if you can afford that. Seem pretty obvious moves to make. But that's going to wrap up Eddie versus the algorithm for this game week. As mentioned, let me know down below in the comments who do you think is going to win this week, myself or the computer. Comment Team Eddie or Team Algo down below. And I wish you all the best of luck for game week 25. Thanks for tuning in. I'll see you soon.